What's beauty to you?
What's beauty to me?
For artists, we fought for so long to have freedom of speech.
We have this technological revolution, but how does it impact our traditions?
If I moved one person to do something, I'll take it.
We have to remind humanity that we're one family.
Some people work to live, others build a career. But when that feeling to live your dream life doesn't back down, as if it's some kind of calling, sometimes you just have to go for it. Back yourself. Be your own boss. Learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. This is to live life hyperreal. This is freedom. Meet Peter Maier, a hyperrealism artist that uses industrial-strength automotive paint to create larger-than-life paintings that look impossibly real. Touted as one of the world's top realism painters, Peter was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. At age 20, Peter was one of the youngest designers ever to be hired by General Motors. This led to a lucrative career as their top automotive designer. But throughout this time, his urge to become a full-time artist never left him. So after a decade, he decided to leave GM to focus exclusively on his fine art practice. Today, Peter's hyperreal paintings are in museums and collections around the globe.
Look at all the paintings. There are no paintings in my house. My wife's paintings are on the second floor. None of mine.
Oh, she paints? She's an
She used to.
Oh.
She's very religious.
What's her?
She's a Christian Scientist practitioner now. She does her thing, you know. Are you ready?
Are you religious?
No. There is the cow.
Oh, you could sell that to a farmer.
Well, we got a billionaire interested in this.
So you were in New York City when it was the real New York City.
Beef, yeah.
42nd Street had its pimps and its...
Oh, absolutely.
What did your mom and dad do?
My dad, he was a precision machinist, learned, the trade, went through the schools in Germany. My mom did the same, and she was a confectionery specialist. They got over here and they decided to try to make some money and build a house and everything, so I was late. My mother was 37, my dad was 43 when I was born, so pretty...
Then.
Oh, back then, that's old. I wasn't spoiled, they didn't give me any...
So did they nurture, when did this thing about art start coming out?
He wanted me to become an engineer, like old German fathers, you're not going to make money in art. But then when I got into Pratt, it was a behind the scenes set up by the deans in the school. We're going to see who's the best. And whoever is gets to work with Robert Mallory, who was chosen by Philip Johnson to do the big sculpture for the World's Fair on the New York State Pavilion. Yeah. And there was Warhol, Chamberlain, Wesselman, all of these guys trying to get up. And I won, and I didn't know it. They called me in the office one day and said, hey, guess what? You don't have to come to school for a whole year, and you're going to work for Mr. Mallory. I go, you got to be shitting me. I came home and told my parents, couldn't believe it. Bob paid me. He got $37,000, I believe, for the sculpture from Philip Johnson in New York State Pavilion. He paid me 10 grand.
That's generous.
Oh, I worked my ass off for Bob, and I loved him. He's my mentor. That was my, first foray into art and meeting Warhol and these guys and see how they work.
And realizing you can make a living out of it.
Yeah, and Elaine de Kooning went to Erasmus Hall High School, and so did I. And she took me under the wing. And I said, man, this is cool. We worked every day and on the weekends, and voila. I've been painting professionally
since you
for
were
39,
right? Yeah.
Since I was 35. I'm going to be 74 in April. 39 years. And, we're having fun. We love it. You got to do what you got to do in life, right?
Right, I love it.
You're doing it.
From animals to faces and fenders, Peter's experience in the automotive industry heavily influences his work. Painting on high-tech fabricated aluminum panels, Peter is the only fine artist that uses state-of-the-art industrial-strength car paints with a unique multi-layered process involving a limited palette of only 8 paint colours. Using brushes, sea sponges to his hands, Peter can add up to 75 thin layers of thin, transparent paint to create a variety of colours, depth and saturation, such as blue over yellow to achieve the perfect shade of green. Clear coats of show car finish is used to give his works a true 3D effect, often impossible to produce using traditional paint mediums.
Now watch this. I was telling you how this paint performs.
Yes.
Well, you got to know how to paint first to make it perform, but there's only 8 colors in here. They go into the black background, but you can still see them because they sit on one another. If that was solvent paint or oil paint, they would muddy out.
It's fantastic. This is cool.
Yeah, see the bubbles in it?
Yeah.
Well, that's on plastic, and we showed it at Sturgis for the big motorcycle thing, and I went for an interview, and it was 116 degrees, and it bubbled.
Oh, I kind of like it though.
I know, everybody loves it. I'm not going to sell that one. So what I did here, I worked from a real photo. It's this big. And I didn't use American Pharaoh. I used Secretariat with a black and white photograph with a jockey on it. The photograph I have, the horse is just crossing the finish line. He knew he won the race. He's not running. And I wanted real speed. So I got a photograph of Secretariat. And that was black and white, but I superimposed this guy, this jockey, on that in his jerseys and everything, and then made the speed. But that was also a still photograph. So I made the speed by doing this. I made everything go horizontal streak lines to make it look real. And this couldn't happen in reality in a photograph. It's just not going to happen. But it's starting to look real, isn't it?
Hyperrealism was coined in 1973 to represent a genre of artwork that resembled high-resolution photos. The movement stemmed from digital cameras and now includes digital art. Hyperrealist and photorealist painters use photographs as their reference source, but unlike photorealist painters that aim to accurately imitate photos, hyperrealist painters aim to make their paintings distinctly sharp, much clearer than their actual reference photo. Thematically, the hyperrealism genre has no defined subject matter. Works may depict life in a social, cultural, or political context, from portrait, still life, to constructed scenes and landscapes. Hyperrealism artists often create works that are larger than life, often adding subtle details which either don't exist or can't be seen by the human eye. Looking at these optical illusion masterpieces, one thing's for certain: it takes an incredible amount of skill, talent, and perseverance to make these paintings come alive.
Were you going and watching the rock band?
No.
Or what was your scene?
My whole thing was playing soccer. No, I was into my art.
Yeah.
Then cars. Well, cars. I always like cars. And basically my painting, my soccer. That's it. No, I wasn't I was the only kid at Pratt who didn't have long hair. To this day, I used to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. But I can honestly tell you right here, I went to an art school. That's where marijuana was out. That was the first place you'd find it in New York City, at Pratt.
Right.
I have yet, and never will, taken a single drag on a weed.
So
I wasn't part of that crowd.
You're a bit of a loner, you'd say?
Not a loner. I have a lot of friends, and they come over. We have a great time. Not big parties, just like we're dressed now, fun barbecues on the back. A lot of my friends, artist friends, especially my artist friends, like to think of themselves as bourgeois.
Right.
And different.
Uh-huh.
hippies, if you will, some of them, okay?
Right.
They think they're bourgeois and loners, but they go to New York and they all join clubs and crowds, and they all become the same.
In the scene.
The same. I'm up here doing my frickin' thing, right? And I don't join that society. I do my own thing. So in essence, when you really look at it, maybe I'm the hippie and the bourgeois son of a bitch.
I think you are.
I don't know.
I think you are.
So how do people find your work when they want to buy?
It's crazy. I've been very fortunate. Probably word of mouth. We don't, you know, through the internet, and that, everybody says people sell through that. Not at these prices.
So what about if someone only had a small budget and they wanted to? They loved your work.
They call me. I've had librarians buy my work. You know, the highest they could afford, they told me, they came here with their husband or kid, I can afford a $10,000 painting. I said, well, I don't do those anymore, but they really love my work. Okay, so I'll do a smaller piece, right? It took them a year to pay it off. I don't give a damn. I gave it to them. They were honest people. You know, I said, just send me a check now and then, and they did. Well, believe it or not, the guy got a better job. They bought a $30,000 painting. And for a lot of people, come on, $30,000 painting's a lot. You know, I'm not a gallery. I love my art. I like these people. They support me.
Yeah.
Puts food on the table and they're happy. What's wrong with that?
Right, right.
And the other stuff comes through the galleries where they get big collectors. All right, I showed you how this stuff evolves, but here's some of the big paintings. All right. I have an affinity towards animals, and if you've noticed, all the paintings so far you've looked at are all frontal or side view. I can bring it out and show it to you.
I can understand you doing the cocks, the roosters, because it represents complete confidence as a symbol, and you are very confident.
This one, they say, Pete, you're getting a name. You got to do a self-portrait. I'm going to do a portrait of my fucking face. So what I did is I took to Michelangelo. Look at this. That's my hand, right? This is automotive paint. I paint by brush. I paint by hand. I use sponges, as you saw. I use my hands, my fingers. But anyway, to build up all the colors, only 8 pure colors to develop. This is my favorite painting.
So obviously you haven't sold that then? This is
and it's not for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they called back. And they go, no, you got to do a portrait. I got an idea. So I did a little sketch. I said, how about doing a side and a front in one? Anyway, so that's the one they wanted me to do. So we're keeping that. Here's enough. I don't like to get involved in the politics. I have my own opinions, as everybody else does. But this was done in 2011, way before the election of Trump and the other people. And you could see the disruption and the diversity in America. It's just totally screwy. So I did this, and I titled it Enough. Get it? This is not orientated to the right, left, or middle. Enough. Get your act together, America. He's a famous biker. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Paul Barney. And he posed for it out in Sturgis. It was 116 degrees. I said, hey, Barney. He goes by Barney. You know that guy over there who's selling these leather jackets? He says, yeah, he's a personal friend. I said, good. Go put the fucking thing on. So he put it on, and he calls me dog, top dog. He goes, God damn, dog, you better start photographing me, because it's 116. I'm sweating my ass off in this thing.
And then people don't really know about you, but you went to the war.
Yeah, I was in Vietnam. What's funny is people stand in front of this. We've had people cry in front of this painting.
Did Vietnam affect you as an artist, do you think, in some way?
No.
No.
No. I have a lot of friends who were affected by it. I think it was ridiculous war like the ones we're in now. I think it's absolutely insane stupidity, asininity. I can tell you stories, but the hell with it. That's then, this is now. The process is very unorthodox and abstract to get to the realistic part of it. And the paints. There's the story right there. That's missing in today's art world. We were taught the skills, the drawing, not the technique so much or like I've developed. That comes later to become professional.
Well, I think Pablo Picasso said, learn the rules so that you can break them like a pro.
Thank you, okay? These kids today, they want to be Pete Maier or Damien Hirst or Jeff Koons. without working for it. Fuck that. That doesn't work, baby. That's bullshit. Once you've learned, the basics of drawing, and let's say you have the talent and you're good, now you got to develop that. Okay, you do it. Now you can expand. Now you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't play his music while I'm doing somebody's portrait. My stuff is so goddamn eclectic, my taste. It goes from Guns N' Roses to the Stones to the, who knows, to Neil Diamond to Pavarotti.
Love it.
You're gonna hear it in a minute. We don't screw around here. We paint, we work. We didn't even rehearse this. There you go.
From Vietnam to lead car designer to full-time artist cited by Art News as having impossibly real paintings, Peter Maier has worked tirelessly, isolated from the art world, revolutionizing American realism, with a process that goes beyond many postmodern paintings. Using high-tech aluminum panels and state-of-the-art auto paints, Maier's combination of paint technology with traditional brushwork has given him a reputation for unique artworks that are largely sold by word of mouth. Collected by many car enthusiasts, Peter's overall aim is to create monumental paintings that make his subjects come alive and breathe. With such precision, they also take your breath away.